The other day I did 35 tips and tricks for brand new players. Now I'm doing 30 more tips for slightly more experienced players that you may or may not know depending on your experience level in the game. But before I do that, be subscribed and join the Discord because we're doing giveaways there all the time and it helps a ton. For the first tip, it's actually a misconception. Some people think lobby hopping resets the merchant and that's a good way to get frog legs or other valuable things you might need from the merchant. It doesn't actually do this. You'll have the exact same merchant when you check him in a different lobby. Number 2, for a good way to earn gold, it's Atlantis challenge. In my opinion, it can be cleared much quicker than AS challenge, and if you're good, it's about a minute and a half clear time for around 150 gold, I believe. It is a very time-effective way to get gold. Number 3, the best endgame elements at each rarity is currently as follows. For rare, it's nature. For epic, it's light. For legendary, it's dragon, awakened dragon specifically. And for mythic, it's galaxy or reaper. Last time I did it for early game, this is for endgame. 4, the quickest and best way to get radium is skeleton keys. Now with angel keys are the second best way in my opinion. Angel keys are more cost effective at getting radium, but they need a bunch of other things outside of gold to also make them. So for that reason, skeleton keys are the best way to get radium and very straightforward to make. It's just gold and then bang. Number 5, the best way to put out insane DPS is using elements that don't need you to actually be on the element. Let's take Reaper. Part of the reason it's so good is because by popping the skeletons, dumping your moves, you have a massive time period where you aren't actively doing anything. This is where swords can come into play. During that time period where you're not doing anything, you hit with swords. But only at endgame, and only if you're using Conqueror's Blades or Doombringers, or just really good swords from Angel Sanctuary. And another good example of this is being Solar with the long, cooldowns the Solar has. You moved up, swap the swords, use those, swap back. You see what I'm saying? Number 6, even though swords are viable at endgame, the composition of your skill points should still stay full elemental power due to sword power applying little to no buff to your sword damage. Like not no buff, but just very minuscule buff. Same with health. Really always just stack elemental power. And let most of your sword power come from just your sword itself, and most of your health just come from your armor. Number 7, these are the best to worst reforges in the game currently. 8, now that you can do raids, the code for the doors is 0421 and the second door code is 1337. But you only need the second door's code as you can literally just jump over this middle computer here to get down. The best way to grind out the scientist, in my opinion, that I found is by doing 10 to 20 runs of each dungeon. Doing this will fill him out quite a bit, and then you can decide to go back through for what you need later. This is what I did, and I filled him out pretty quickly, and now I have him at max level. For those who still don't know, and why this is even a thing is beyond me, to easily clear the harder versions of Angel Sanctuary bosses or Angel Sanctuary challenge, you can come on top of this tree and hide him up here and hit him pretty easily, and he can't really do all that much to you outside of one move, which is the gravity move. For that, you would have to back up. But if you do get low, you can also just throw yourself off the back of the tree and get all your health back up and run right back up to the top of it if you're having struggle beating him. Number 11, this is currently the location of every single NPC in the game. Number 12, there's this cute little Easter egg of Star Wars off to the side of the map of Underworld, and it is actually still there in the remake of Underworld too. It's not really a tip or trick, but it's been one of my favorite things in the game since Underworld came out. 13, watch my first part because if you're new to the game or have any frequently asked questions like the one I'm answering here today, you'd want to watch that as well. Number 14, if you put the word elemental in your name, you'll be granted a title called elemental in the game. But be warned, if you do this, Roblox will make you keep that name for a week before you can change it back to normal, but you'll still keep the title forever. So if you want to put elemental in your name for 1 week in Roblox, you'll get a title in the game that lasts forever. 15, if you want to guarantee a mythic from 0 gems, all you need to do is leave your account in AFK for 660 hours. This is because you get 5 gems every 5 minutes, and it would take you 660 hours at that rate to save up to pity. If you have VIP and premium, you get 12.5 per 5 minutes, and you would only need to stay in for roughly 11 straight days or 264 hours till you hit pity. This may seem like really bad odds, but you get a ton of gems just for logging in every day. If you do your dailies on top of that, you'll reach the pity requirement way faster, as well as luck potions, the lucky game pass, and a plethora of other ways to better your odds. It's not as bad as it seems. I know the 11 days or 660 straight hours to save up to pity sounds like a lot, but it's unlikely you'll get to pity, and there's many other ways to also get gems while you AFK. 16, lucky banner charms bonus is incredibly minuscule for costing so much. Even if you've made both and have them both equipped, your odds to get a mythic would only go from 0.25 to 0.27, and it would take you hours upon hours to grind this. I don't recommend it because to make these, it's very expensive and the buff is so tiny. I really don't recommend it, but if you think it's worth it and you have nothing else to grind for, it's there. For everyone wondering, the odds of pulling a C Mythic are around 0.0025%, which would take an insane amount of gems. The only realistic way to get it corrupted is currently just through trading, with these odds being statistically impossible. Number 18, the best way to level up on an alt currently is doing a couple of runs of this event, which instantly gets you pretty much to level 50, and you can take a bunch of alts into it. And if you have a main with Kitsune on it, you can easily use this to speed them up. This is helpful to grind out gold, because if you have 4 accounts all at max level, you can get insane gold, and say you want to then upgrade your gear, you can pass it around those alt accounts to level it up individually. Same with just getting way more rewards for having a bunch of alt accounts. And this event really, it does help you get them like instantly boosted up. 19, the dummy in the lobbies gets killed a ton, but there's actually a second one most people don't know, and it's right here in this tree that's tucked away off, just way off to the side. Usually this one doesn't get killed because not a lot of people even know it's here, and they're usually not over here hitting it. So if you want to stay in the regular lobby and still be able to test your damage, you can come here. Number 20, the best Reaper setup with Awakening is this. 21, the best Angel setup with Awakening is this. 22, the best Dragon setup with Awakening is this. Tip number 23, falling off cliffs doesn't technically kill you. We know this because if you threw yourself off an Angel Sanctuary Hardcore or back in the Angel Sanctuary Raid, you didn't lose, you just came back with full health. So when you fall off of something, you didn't actually die. 24, the best current way to grind leaderboard is Underworld Infinite with Galaxy, in my opinion, but Angel Sanctuary is also good too, just a much higher chance you die. So I would definitely go with doing Underworld Infinite if you want to grind on top of the leaderboard, and Galaxy because your final move, the black hole move, has a 100% uptime. It's never down and it grabs the enemies. Number 25, there are exactly 6 passives in the game. Lightning, which causes you to send out electric bolts after hits, just a chance. Phantom, which prevents you from dying. When you do actually die, you come back with a portion of your health. Reaper, which gives your minions regeneration. Kitsune, which is a speed buff. Dragon, which is a bit of a burn effect. And Galaxy, which are these stars that when you accumulate more kills and more of these stars, your Galaxy begins to do more damage, capping at 5 of these stars. Each star giving you a 5% buff, totaling at max a 25% damage buff. It is very good, especially on Galaxy. Number 26, this is how you get every passive, and these numbers change, like how many you need to get with each level you go up, but what you need to do stays the same, and they all go up to level 5. 27, a cheaper way to get these bundles is roll for Meg normally, then you will see a make permanent screen at the top here. This will be cheaper than just buying this bundle if you were thinking of doing that, and it works with a lot of elements. This is also how you make rare tier elements permanent if you're wondering how to do that, since it's one of the only ones you can't make permanent. You can still make those permanent for 400 Robux. 28, to beat this winter quest, all you need to do is run the dungeon associated with it, the snow dungeon, then talk to him again, and when you rerun it, you should see this right here at the top. This is pretty straightforward, and once you have it done, return back to him. But for the quests like the presents, you just have to run around grabbing the presents. It'll be obvious, they'll have a marker on them, and then you need to beat the Grunch or whatever he's called 5 different times. And this is just for the whole winter spotlight thing. Number 29, in my last video I said to save your sea shards no matter what. Well, now I'm going to tell you how you can easily get them. Go into Ancient Tomb Infinite, stand in the middle while using Galaxy, and just click Black Hole over and over again. Since, like I mentioned earlier, for Underworld Infinite, it has 100% uptime, so the mobs can never actually get to you besides maybe the boss, and you get a ton of mobs here. It's very, brainless. You can easily get corrupted shards. Well, not easily, corrupted shards are so rare, but this is the best method to do it. Number 30, always run raids with multiple people, be it alts or friends. This is because when doing raids, it costs gold. Say you get 50,000 gold per raid. This isn't the actual number, but say you did, and a raid key costs 800,000 gold. If you run it with 4 people per key, you are getting a total of 200,000 back, which means if you then did 4 raids, you would get an extra key effectively. If that makes any sense, allowing you to run more raids with the same amount of keys you initially went in with. So you do definitely want to run with other people or alts. And most people are going to be willing to run raids with you, I've found. And that is 30 pro tips and tricks to help out maybe slightly more experienced players that aren't quite at max level and still have some things to learn. Anyways, thanks for watching. See ya.